Hey, what's going on? Hey, listen, sorry about the lack of content. Had some family come through, work, the whole nine. I've been chomping at the bit to get this draft out. Problem was there was so many moves being made in regards to teams and free agency and all this type of things that it made me a little reluctant to put the video out too early. However, we here now. If you watch any of my videos, you know I like to just jump straight into it. So if you wouldn't mind like, sharing, and subscribing, it'd be much appreciated. Now, I've been doing a little drinking, so forgive me. But nevertheless, free agency was fantastic. It's probably the best I've ever seen. I mentioned this on someone else's video. I think the reason why it's that way is because teams are working together as opposed to working against one another. And anytime you doing a deal and both parties feel comfortable, there's some type of compromise, rather. Each team, neither person, neither individual, player included, team included, in the context of what we're talking about here with teams and free agency and trades and all this type of stuff. Anytime everybody feels comfortable with what happened, it's always for the best. So trying to get over on a deal, it's not that's not the way. That's not how you do business. You do what's best for the in regards to what we're talking about. You do what's best for the player, and you do what's best for both teams. There was some comments in regards to the Colts just giving up a third round for Matt Ryan. That was the perfect thing to do. It put Matt Ryan in a position that he deserved to be put in with a team he deserves to be a part of. The same sentiment for the Colts. They deserve to have someone of his caliber on their squad, and the Falcons knew that doing what's best for him and doing what's best for them, third round pick was more than enough. He's an older quarterback, not to mention that. But even so, everything is not about compensation and money. You know, it's about it's a little deeper than that. But nevertheless, we got the draft here. Now this draft will be with trades. I'm going to do all 7 rounds. Now I'm not going to talk through all 7 rounds. I will just do the first round, and then from then on, I will more or less go past the draft. I'll do all 7 rounds, starting at the second round. There'll be no more commentary. Um, Hope you enjoy it, so on and so forth. So, first pick, Evan Neal. Second pick, Aiden Hutchinson. Let's just get a little redundant. I think that's what it is. Malik Willis, Houston. They need a quarterback. They seem pretty. They seem set on going to the draft for quarterback. They don't seem like they're trying to make a whole lot of trades. I think they're really valuing these picks. They're really trying to start from scratch in that regard. So I don't know if I totally agree with the idea of not getting any kind of vet presence at the quarterback spot, but I thought Jimmy G would be a good idea. I thought Jameis Winston would be a good idea, but I feel I understand how they feel about Mills. I feel the same way. I don't think he's a starter by any means. Not a bad guy to have as your number two though. I think he's a fantastic number two. Very good player at that position. But Malik Willis said maybe they still go with a vet, older guy to kind of bring the two young guys along. But this is about how I see it. And also Malik Willis did a good job of impressing people at his pro day. So there you go, good pick there. Ahmed Gardner to the Jets. They need a presence at the cornerback spot. May not be the last cornerback they take. You know, they're going to have to do a lot of rearranging on that team in general. Offensively, defensively, they're going to have to kind of figure some things out. But good coaching goes a long way. Also, they have one of the best GMs in the league. So they're going to be okay. Akim Ekwanu, it's about how most people see it. I'm not doing anything spectacular there, but that's about how most people see it. Kenny Pickett going number 6 to the Carolina Panthers. Now, I think personally Carolina Panthers would be a good spot for Jimmy G. And usually, I heard some rumblings that the Panthers could be looking to make this pick. I think it's a great idea. Him along with that team, you know, somebody eventually is going to have to get Jimmy G in the weight room so he can kind of hold up a little better over a season. I don't think people, that's typically not how it goes with quarterbacks. That they try to keep him out of there. But I think everything else with him is great. I just think he has to find some stability in his body. It's just that's his biggest problem. He's so easily broken, and I've always been so high on Jimmy G, and I still am. I still think he's fantastic, but he's gonna have to find some stability in his body. Have to get in the weight room, push some metal, so he can kind of build up some of those muscle fibers. He's gonna have to do something because he could really be very beneficial to the Carolina Panthers. He can actually save Matt Rule's job, who I wasn't a big fan of when he first got hired. I was like, why? And when Flores was out there, I thought he'd be fantastic to take for Flores to take his job, quite frankly. But I'm not that down on Rule. I think he can coach. Might have been a little too fast for him in this regards, but get a guy like Jimmy G, then you got a guy like Kenny Pickett in the quarterback room. You have a chance. You have a chance to salvage something there. Next, New York, Kayvon Thibodeau. How most people see it. I think next, number 7, you have Kayvon Thibodeau. More the closer and closer we get to the draft, it just seems like the natural fit. Kyle Hamilton. Falcons need defensive back help in general. Kyle Hamilton goes a long way in that regard. Could go off the board a little sooner than this, but I just think this is I just think this is the right place for him. They don't really have any set pieces anywhere on that defense, particularly in the defensive backfield. So a guy like this really can make a lot of things happen. Fish the 4-3 scheme, the whole nine. Fantastic pick there for them. Trayvon Walker, very talented. Uh, Run stuff at the edge spot. Can also rush the passer very well. Like the idea of him here. I can't see them passing up. They could go quarterback here, but uh, Trayvon Walker just exceeds the talent at the quarterback at this spot for the Seahawks. So not taking him here would be quite an injustice over a quarterback, rather. You know what I mean? I definitely taking Walker over any of the quarterbacks left in this draft as it is. Derek Stingley, Garrett Wilson. I went double corner. Reason being is they really need the help. Having two high-level guys like this come off the board in a draft is one in a million. Typically does not happen very often, which is why you do it. He drops right here to number 10. He's right there on your board. If he the highest value, he should be the highest value on your board at this particular point. Just take him. Again, you don't have any real answers at the spot anyway. You got some players, you got some guys, but these two spots start immediately, and they really make you dynamic in that regards. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, to go along with the new quarterback. Hopefully, Wentz didn't do as bad as people. He just was not a good fit for the Colts. He didn't do that bad. He just was not a good fit for the Colts. I felt that way. I felt the way they felt. But with the Commodores, it's funny to call them that, but with the Commanders, excuse me, keep calling them Commodores. With the Commanders, I think he does a little. I think he does a little bit better. I think they'll appreciate what he offers. I think he's a good fit there. And a guy like Garrett Wilson, they haven't really had this. He's gonna have to get a little stronger. But all in all, talented, very talented kid. My favorite, one of my favorite players in the draft. Probably my favorite receiver in the draft. I also like Pickens, and there's a couple more guys I like. I'll get into that as well. But next, you got Minnesota Vikings, Jermaine Johnson. I had him in my first round, 4 or 5 drafts ago of my mock drafts. People are starting to see his talent now. He done well in testing and all this other stuff. So people now realizing his talent. He jumps up right here. I think I had him going in the 20s. In my first mock draft, I had him going right here to 12 to Minnesota. Very good fit there. Tyler Lindenbaum, to the Houston Texans. Fantastic pick, fantastic player to go along with those young quarterbacks. It's not really much else you can ask for. Can play any interior line position you want him to. The value is just too high for him to pass up on him at a position that you're looking to fill. Charles Cross, offensive tackle, very talented kid. Devin Lloyd and Kobe Dean. Philadelphia has went without. I've done this in prior drafts. Philadelphia has went without linebackers for a very long time. Why not double up on it? T.J. Edwards is pretty good. He can still play with these two guys, but these two guys together is a problem. And I think they complement each other very well with their styles of play. And Devin will be obviously the inside backer. You'll have to move Edwards, who is naturally an outside backer, well, a rush outside linebacker, and then you got Nakobe Dean as outside. Makes a lot of sense to me. So, got Jordan Davis and Desmond Ridder. Jordan Davis, put him right in the middle. You don't have to worry about too much. You're a quarterback, and you look at this pick, you're happy. Even though it's not on the offensive side of the ball, this is the kind of guy that gives you the ball back. Hard to run on a guy like this. Big, athletic, very, very good player. He's been around this range for me even before the testing and all that other stuff. So this is about why I saw him going. You know, sometimes I mocked him going to the Ravens or whatever, but this is about why I saw him going anyway, and he just kind of solidified that here recently. Desmond Ridder, he's a piece there. They got Winston. They got the other quarterback. Guy like this, you can sit him on the bench, develop him. There's no rush. There's no rush. You already got some pieces in place. Hopefully for them, Sean Payton gets untired of football and decides to come back. I don't see it happen within the next couple of years, but hopefully for them that happens, and a guy like Ridder fares a fair better chance. Oh, excuse me, fares a way better chance of really developing into a nice player, which I think he can be with the right coaching. Treylon Burks. So you got Treylon Burks, Devin Lloyd, and Nakobe Dean. That's a nice haul. That is he complements the other receivers very well. Give them a big give them a big red zone kind of threat. A guy who runs very nicely the ball. Like I said before in my other drafts, I think Treylon's gonna have to play a little running back too, which is fine. Use him as a weapon, similar to how, and they're two different style of players. So I hate to compare them, but I'm just talking about in their usage, how the Jaguars used Chenault. That's more or less how Philadelphia is going to have to use Treylon Burks. And again, they're different players, different styles of player, but the usage is what I'm referring to, and that's what I think makes the most sense. You got 20, you got Matt Corral. I heard, and I think it's a good idea. I was trying to think where could Baker Mayfield go. I heard that the Pittsburgh Steelers want him, and I thought that's a fantastic. The Browns said that he needs to grow up. They just out and out said it. They tried to dress it up. You know, they didn't want to kind of sell him down the river, but he was doing his best to sell them down the river. And he's been doing that since he got there, quite frankly. And I'm not a Baker Mayfield guy by any means, but a team like Pittsburgh kind of gets that out of you. It kind of makes a man out of you. You know, you can't be weak hearted and bitching and whining all the time and play for the Steelers. It's just not gonna work out that way for you. So, and depending on how long this go, I might do the second round as well. I'm not particularly sure, but depending on how, I don't want to talk your ears off. Jameson Williams, Pittsburgh Steelers, nice, different kind of receiver than they used to having. Nice receiver for Mac Jones, who I love. I heard a guy like, what's his name? Skip Bayless talking about Mac Jones and Baker Mayfield better. You out of your damn mind. Mac Jones is the real deal. Get a guy like him, like Jameson Williams, for him, fantastic. Drake London. I don't see Drake London working out with any other team, really, quite frankly, other than the Green Bay Packers. I thought he could be good with the Kansas City Chiefs, but that's just my honest feeling about him from the get-go. I thought he was okay. I thought he was good in some ways. I just didn't really see how his game translated. But with the Green Bay Packers, I think he'll be what a lot of people think he can be. I think he has an opportunity to be that. So him right here, your quarterback's happy. He'll be happy with the decision. Very natural pick right there. Chris Olave. Cardinals need to help at the position. Get a guy like Olave. Right here, 23, or right where about where I see him. I can see him here, maybe just a slight bit later, but right here for them, fantastic pick. Christian Harris, one of my favorite players in this draft, goes to my favorite team. It was just too hard to pass up for me. We need the help. He's a very good. I mean, listen. Uh, One thing I love is Alabama linebackers. Always have, and he's one of the best to come from there. I love his game. I love the way he plays. He's physical. He's athletic. Does whatever you really need him to do. He's the type of player that we need to go along with Micah and the whole nine. So, man, if we could get him, I would be very happy. I keep mocking this guy, Andrew Booth, to Buffalo Bills. Just again, he could play all five of the defensive back positions: nickel, one of the two cornerback positions, or the safety positions. All five. So just a natural fit, right player, right team. Jahan Dotson, they need this. They need this kind of profile of player. Very I call him jumpy. Type of a wide receiver, makes poppy plays. He's the type of guy similar to like a they similar to he's not quite as game is a little different, but somewhat similar to like a Hollywood Brown from the Baltimore Ravens. He's a guy who you won't hear from for all game. Then all of a sudden he got 2 touchdowns. You know, he's that kind of player. He could be that kind of player for them, and they could really use that kind of athleticism on the field when the offense is out there. Trent McDuffie. The more I start looking at this Trent McDuffie to Tampa Bay fit, it just kept looking very natural to me. So I was like, I think that makes a lot of sense. He gives them a nice nickel. Um, I think they'll really like his style of play as well. George Karlaftis falls right here to Green Bay. They got Drake London, George Karlaftis. That's a nice haul as well. George Karlaftis is a little higher on people's board than he is on mine, but right here at 28, I don't know if I would say it's a steal, but in regards to his ranking, it is quite a steal. But this is about where I see him going. A natural place, a place that could really use his help and his effort on that edge. Considering they making some moves there, who knows how that all is going to work out there. Daxton Hill sneaks in the first round for me. If the Chiefs don't have 2 picks here, he might not. But I just think he's just the perfect piece for them. He makes a lot of sense for their defense. I think they need, like I said before, I think they need to get a new defensive coordinator. But even if they don't, a guy like Daxton Hill makes a whole lot of sense. George Pickens, very good wide receiver to go along with Juju Smith. They got, as you know, they got rid of Tyreek Hill in the big trade that made a lot of sense. I mean, quite frankly, try to pay him all that money, but even with that, even with all that aside, I think he was kind of spinning. As fantastic as he was with the Kansas City Chiefs, I think it was time for all of them to kind of move on. So a lot of things happened in the past, so on and so forth. So I like the idea of him going to Miami and really filling out their team. And again, all these teams are working together. That's why everything looks like it fits so well. It's just everybody's just kind of on the same page. Trevor Penning brings a nice game to that line. He can, at least he tries to be somewhat of a tone setter in that regard, and they need that. They need a little attitude and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's necessary, but it won't hurt. Rather, you know what I mean. So Sam Howell, golf is not the long term answer. Even though I like golf for them, I don't. I'm not in love with golf by any means, but for a bridge guy, a guy who you can get to have a guy like Sam Howell coming in and make some noise, I think it's fantastic. Now, I could do the second round. I'll go ahead and do the second round. I run right through it real fast. David Ajabo, I'm sorry to hear what happened to him. However, going to a team like Jacksonville, they've since the regime has changed there from Urban Meyer and Doug Peterson, a real coach, is in there now. They got a real organization in there at the moment. Guy like a Jabo, sit him for a year, he'll be good. They got enough players and enough pieces on their team to kind of make it happen. Louis Sine, another one of my favorite players, and along with Jaquan Brisker, um, very good pieces for those two teams. They definitely are needed. Kenyon Green, Drake Jackson, Kenyon Green to New York, another natural fit to go along with Ikem, kind of shore up that line as much as you possibly can. Drake Jackson, one of my favorite players in this draft. I really always liked his game, love the way he plays. Hopefully, continues to develop as a pass rusher. And so far, if you look at it, they're having a nice draft. Boy Mafe did himself quite a bit of service um, with all the testing and everything. Had to look back at his tape before his testing, and I'm not a tester guy. I put of course it's in the right context. Testing along with their play kind of deal. But even then, sometimes it don't matter. It's just a case by case basis. You can't apply one size fit all to every player. But in his case, I really wanted to look back at the tape because just because he taped well, excuse me, just because he timed well and this didn't mean anything. But when I looked at his tape originally, before all the testing, I said, I wonder how athletic he is. He was one of those guys where his film looked pretty good, but he looked a little out of place sometimes. He looked like the game was a little too fast for him. And with the way he tested, and you'll see through my draft, testing, it is what it is. It's just a tool and should be used as a tool. It will never be the over. I got guys testing best testers in the draft on the back half of my draft, so it don't really matter about that. But did himself quite a bit of service there. Moves up from I originally had him in the late third round, early fourth round. Comes up to the second round. Christian Watson, very good player. They need some wide receivers immediately. So Kerry Elam, think he fits their defense very well. He's take a sip. Him as a tackler he's a little sometimey. He sometimes you see him and you like, man, that guy, he's really not, too shy about coming up to the line. But then sometimes you see him just depending on, usually with guys like that, you know, a team like the Seahawks who are a little hard nosed, this that's their culture, or it has been in the past, he kind of implement some of those intangibles into him, get him a little tougher in certain spots because he's tough. I'm not saying that he's not tough. I'm just saying he turns it off sometimes. So a team like that can really impart some of that to him. They got another pick here, Quay Walker. Have a guy like Elam and Quay Walker. Um, then you have what do we give him in the first round? Trayvon Walker. Wow, wow, that's pretty serious. John Michie, very well. He might be one of the best all around, well-rounded receivers in this draft. Going to a team who needs that kind of profile of player, a guy who could just do a little bit of everything from because they have some pieces there, but a guy who could kind of glue in a sense, kind of bring it all together is what he provides you. Myjai Sanders, very good player right there on the edge for them. They need the help, and he's more than capable of being a pretty good player at that position. Devontae Wyatt, very pretty athletic to be his size. Goes to a team who will know what to do with him. One of the smartest, well organized teams in the league. The Browns never thought out, and they've been that way for the last 2-3 years. It's their front office. Their GM is just absolutely brilliant. Obviously they got Deshaun Watson. I mean, good for them. Zion Johnson, they definitely that shows up that offensive line, which I'm I'm pretty sure they're looking to do. They have to do it. In fact, guy like this, I said it before. He's the type of guy you put out there you don't worry about. And I said this in my last draft. You put him right there, no worries. Roger McCreary, nice player there. very good tackler, does everything very well, and does some things great. That's why he's the first rounder. You getting first round value right here in the second round. If you're Minnesota, Carson Strong, a guy to develop. You don't know how that knee's gonna work out. You're looking to see that, but he has a lot of talent. Throws the ball very nice. He's a natural at the position in a lot of ways, as far as his arm is concerned. Looking to develop him, put another guy, behind Wentz and my guy there now, and you know, Tariq Woolen, long, tall corner, will come up, will hit you, not scared to hit you. Uh, not a short. I mean, not say he's not a short tackler. That's not necessarily what he that's not necessarily his bag, but he will tackle you. And if he gets you, he probably got you. Long, very good player, very talented kid. Damone Clark, very athletic linebacker. Um, you get him on the Saints. They really have not had a guy like this on the roster. And by the way, he's in the state. Can't argue with that. That's fantastic. But they never really had this kind of talent at that linebacker spot. And if they did, not very often. They had Davis and guys like this, but Damone Clark is a little something different in that regards, and I'm pretty sure they can't wait to get him. Kyler Gordon going to Kansas City. I think that's a natural fit. Marcus Jones going to the Eagles. Kyler Gordon, first round, he's a safety. If anybody gets him in the first round, he's not playing safety. I'm not sure if they're looking at the tape properly. Now, second round, he could play corner for you. He's like a number 2 corner. You put him on the edge. He might still fall back and play a little free safety for you. But here the pressure's off. Don't really matter. He will play. He will make your team. He will play some football for you, and he's very talented as well. So Marcus Jones, another one of my favorite players in this draft. Does a little bit of everything, kind of a utility guy, or Swiss Army knife, rather. I'd rather put it that way. Very talented. I didn't understand when I was looking at the boards why he was ranked so low in regards to the other talent out there. I just didn't see it. I couldn't. And the closer we got to um, the combine, those types of things, I seen him gradually kind of coming up, and I thought, well, by the time they really see what this kid got, he'll be a top guy. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Bernard Raymond shows up that offensive line. Chad Muma, very good pick here for Green Bay. He's the type of guy that they love having. And I'm not saying he kind of in that that AJ Hawk, Matthews kind of vibe he gives them. They love that kind of play. They love that style of play, kind of reckless, um, nose for the ball kind of linebacker. He gives them that kind of edge. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is he intrigues me. One of my top 10 favorite players in this draft because I think with the right team he could be. I think he could be a Pro Bowler. He just has these. Um, he has some technical. Not he. I wouldn't say he's all out gifted, but he has some technical gifts that he gets it. You know what I mean? Technically, he gets how to play the position, and knowing how to play the cornerback position on a stable and consistent level is a difficult thing to do. So the fact that he does that is very intriguing to me, and I can't wait to see with a team like the Patriots how that works out for him. Martin Emerson, long, tall corner, good tackler, going to the Cardinals. DeMarvin Lear going to my boys. Stays in Texas, could play multiple positions on the line. At one time, was thought as the first round. He falls here because the reason why he falls here for me is just because of the way of the draft. There's just not a whole lot of there's other things that need to go on before he gets drafted. But right here is perfect. Right here is perfect. Right team, right time, the whole nine. No pressure. Sky Moore, option there. They're getting rid of Beasley, bringing the guy with that same skill set. Reminds me a lot of Beasley in that way. I think he's a better runner with the ball than Beasley, but nevertheless, good player. Taylor, long, tall corner, nose for the ball, athletic. Usually is where he needs to be. Has to get a little better with some technical aspects at the position, but a very good football player. Travis Jones is just smart. He's a smart. I ain't gonna use the word. Just a very intelligent defensive player. Knows where to be. Will be where he needs to be. Wan'Dale Robinson gives Brady a different kind of weapon. Would be fun to see how he uses Wan'Dale, kind of a joystick kind of player. That's gonna be intriguing. Talking about intriguing, that's gonna be fun to watch. That is gonna be fun to watch. Zion McCollum, very talented kid from a smaller school, but with a team like San Francisco, those types of things don't mean that because the coaching is so good. That's what happens when you have good coaching. You can get the talent out of guys, and I think that's a great spot for him. Sam Williams has some off the field issues. Team like Kansas City, they're winners. They have great coaching. They have great culture. Could be a good place for him to flourish. Trey McBride, Cincinnati definitely needs the help at the tight end position. I thought about Weidemeyer here, but Trey McBride kind of fits their offense a little better than Weidemeyer. I like the pick. Channing Tindall's sideline to sideline backer, very talented kid. I had him going early second round at one point. He's very good fit for them, and type of guy you plug and play. He'll play. I think he'll start fairly early with them. Now from this point on, so I won't hold you. I'm not going to do any more commentary. However, I will go through the rest of my draft and appreciate everything. Appreciate all the comments and everything. Sorry it took me so long to get back. Had a lot of things going on, but please enjoy the rest of the draft.